p.m. on the 13th of August 2022, and it's another swelteringly hot day here in England. So let's have a look at the comments and see who's in the house this afternoon. So I have Hilary, hi Hills, Anne, hi Anne, Janice is here, thanks for coming along Janice, good to see you. And we have, oh, cheeky monkey, Claire. Claire, glad you could get on. I know you're having trouble with Taz. So for those who don't know, Taz is Claire's little, oh, what's he called? Miniature bulldog? I can't remember. Frenchie, isn't it? Okay. Oh, and we have Carol here. Hello, Carol. I don't think I've seen you here before. Forgive me if I'm wrong and you have been here before. I'm just going to tilt this. Sorry, I don't mean to make you ill, but I just want to change that to a better angle. Okay. Yeah, that's better. So, good to see you all here today. Well, from the thumbnail, you'll see that I've planned to use Nature's Prints today. I really like this stamp set and I haven't played with it enough. Because I've just got quite a few new sets at the moment, and you know, trying to decide what to do next is quite difficult sometimes. So anyway, this is my chosen set today, and I've got a layout in mind, but as you know, these things often change as they go along, but that's the beauty of crafting. That's why we do it, because we never quite know what's going to happen. So let's get started then, and I'll show you what I decided to start with. And that's a square card. It measures 5 3/4 inch square, and it's very vanilla. And I pulled out a couple of embossing folders. Now, these come in a set together. They're called Splats and Stripes. So if I hold them up like that, you'll see why. This one's got like a striped pattern, and this one is like kind of splats, a kind of puddle kind of thing. So they're both nice. I have used this one on more than one occasion. This one I've used off camera, but not actually used during a video. Excuse me just one moment. Sorry about that, but this hot weather really does make my nose run a bit. Now I've decided to use the splats today, and I went on ahead of time and decided to run this through my machine. Hello Esther, thanks for coming along. It's lovely to see you. I bet you're sweltering too, aren't you? I might have to put the fan on in a moment, which could be exciting, because I've just remembered I've got my feet in a bowl of cold water, so I might have to paddle across the room. Should have put it on before I started, but here we go. Yeah, this is my silicone mat, and I'm using it because it doesn't move anywhere and it helps things to stay where they are. So we'll see how it goes. So when you use an embossing folder, you get an embossed side and a debossed side. Now, I normally use the embossed size. I mean, that's what we use an embossing folder for. But I actually quite like the debossed side of this one. So I thought, just for a change, that's what I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to use some design series paper on the other part of the card. So I'm thinking of using a complementary colour to just sponge over this. So let's choose the designer series paper for the other side, and then that will determine the ink colour I use there. So I pulled these out of the Lights Aglow paper pack, and I'm not really wanting to use this side because this isn't a Christmas card. But I do like the other side, which is the bokeh dots. Now this has some, oh, what's this gold thing called? Oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Foiling. It's the heat, it's the heat. This has some foiling on it, and it's not a Christmassy thing. We could use that one, or we could go for that design on the back. So, not sure, okay? And then thirdly, I don't want to use this, although it's lovely, but for this particular design, it's not going to be right. So it's the lighter green polka dot. Oh no, I always get polka dot. It's polka dot. Let me just see if anyone else has joined us. Oh, Lynn Price. Lynn from Australia, thank you very much for joining us. I don't think I've seen you here before on my lives, Lynn. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're very welcome. So can I have a vote for either 1, 2 or 3? Now, if you're going for the 2, we have to decide which side it's going to be. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, let's have your votes on 1, 2 or 3. So while you're having a little think about that, I'll just see if I can pop the fan on without getting too much water over the carpet. I've got an old tea towel here that I'm going to walk on. Right, that went quite well. My feet are back in the water. So we've got a vote for 1 and a vote for 2. And oh, Carol's hedging her bet. She's going for 1 and 3. Okay. Warm English welcome, Lynn. That's nice. Okay, so we've got 2 votes for 1. Let's say 2.5 because Carol says half a vote because she couldn't make up her mind between 1 and 3. So at the moment, yeah. So Lynn says, I often watch your replays, but just the second time I've managed to catch you live. It's 11:40 p.m. Yeah, I realise that, you know, when I do, when I'm in touch with anyone else from Australia, I usually try and make it the morning. So it's their early evening. But I do appreciate you coming along. Thank you. Carol, don't apologise. It's absolutely fine. It's just my little joke. Well, we seem to have more votes for 1, so I'm going with 1. But Anne, because you know you liked this, what we'll do is we'll use that in another project another time. If you remind me, I'll make sure I use it. So as we're going with this, which is the Evening Evergreen, I'm going to go for the soft succulent to colour this, so it just gives a bit of a contrast. So I'm going to use a finger dauber for this because I find it's it gives a better colour, because we just want to skim over the top. I don't want to colour the whole thing. I just want to pick up the raised areas. So I'm going to pop this down on here, and this is one of the reasons I'm using this, because it helps to keep your card steady when you're doing something like this. So just taking off the worst of that, and you just skim over it like so. And this is when your pattern really starts to come to life. Now these sponge daubers I've had for a long time, and they seem to have deteriorated, even though I've not used this one at all. It's a brand new one. Don't seem to have kept well. But I don't want to use a blending brush because I think I'll get too much colour on the on all of the card, and I don't want that. So just taking off those bits that have left foam on, and then if I just use my wet cloth, I can just wipe this clean. It's the beauty of this mat, it doesn't stain, it wipes off really lovely, stays white. Okay, so that's that piece all ready to use. So let's see how big we're going to make this. Let's pop it here, and I don't want this to be exactly half and half, so I'm going to cut this down to say there. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much perfect. I'm just going to cut a little bit off the bottom so that I get the same border all the way around. Yeah, I think that'll do. And then for this side, I'm going to pop this here. So I'm going to stick this down, get it in place. So what's everybody been doing today? Hello, Rosie. Oh, long time no see. It's so good to see you. I hope all's well. Shirley, thank you for coming along. You're escaping from the sun. Yeah, I don't blame you. So Rosie, do tell me, how is Adam? Is he still crafting? Has he made anything super duper lately? So I've just used my Tombow to adhere this. Now when you're sticking down anything that's been embossed, obviously there's lots of different surfaces. So you've got to be mindful that the glue might miss a couple of parts of the cardstock. So try to press down on your bone folder so that you spread the glue out that's there. And doesn't seem to be anything there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I'm just going to butt this up and make a little mark with my fingernail there so that I can see where I need to cut it. Adam's right here watching with me. He hasn't been crafting much, but I think you will be inspiring us both today. That's really good to hear, Rosie. Thank you. And hello, Adam. Everyone say hello to Adam. Adam is the most adorable little lad who often joins our crafting sessions and produces some quite stunning results. I particularly remember the wreath that Adam stamped on one occasion. It was amazing. And when you consider that Adam's, do forgive me if I've got this wrong, I think Adam is 9. Is that right? Adam, I'm so sorry if I've got that wrong. Okay, so, oops, I've just lost you. Let's go back. Okay, I found you again. Okay, just checking the comments again. Oh, we have Sherry from Vermont, USA. Welcome, Sherry. Nice to have you with us. Again, I don't think I've seen you with us before, but if I'm wrong, just please do say so. It's lovely to see you. So I'm just cutting this down to 5.5, which I think should be the correct measurement. Tiny weeny bit over. So yeah, that's about right. He's 10 next month. I was right, he's 9. Wow. Oh, I thought we were going to have a crash then. I thought I'd started to cause an avalanche. Okay, so just putting more Tombow on the back of that one. There's beautiful designs on these papers, and I promise I will use these foiled sides nearer to Christmas. Well, It might not be nearer Christmas, it might be quite soon when I make Christmas cards. As you know, I am one who likes to make Christmas cards whatever the season. So let's pop the lid on my glue and get that put away. Okay, Sherry, well, I'm glad you came along this time and decided to join in with the chat. Everyone is always welcome. Okay, so that's our base done and dusted. And the next part is stamping some designs onto some cardstock. And I seem to have lost the piece of card I was going to stamp onto. So I'm going to start with this piece, which is left over from embossing. And I'm just bringing in my piercing mat, which is good to stamp on. Although I will add, when you're using these cling stamps, actually they've already got a lot of cushioning, so you could probably just get away with using this. Okay, so I'm going to use a mixture of the Evening Evergreen and the soft succulent pads here. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I think I will go with going to go with Evening Evergreen for this one. No particular reason. So the other thing about this silicone pad with the little sharp edge in, if you put your stamp pad in the corner, it stays there. It doesn't move about. So I'm just going to stamp this, and I think I'll do it at an angle. And then I'm going to go for the, sorry, let me show you the stamp set. So that was the fern, and I'm going to use this one next, also an Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to put that at an angle. And then I'm just going to grab another piece of very vanilla cardstock. Just talk amongst yourselves, ladies. This is, it's called a waffle flower mat, a mixed media. It's a silicone mat, and I got mine from Amazon. So if you go on there and just say, just type in waffle silicone mat or something. There are 2 or 3 different kinds. But yeah, I got it from Amazon. And then I'm going to stamp in the soft succulent my third leaf. It's a lovely stamp set, isn't it, Rosie? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, good old Amazon. It makes me laugh sometimes. People say to me, oh, where did you get that? My son in particular. And I say, well, where do you think I got it? You know, where do I get everything? Apart from my Stampin' Up supplies, all my shopping is done on Amazon because it's just so easy. And with my daughter having the Amazon Prime account, we get free postage as well. So it's cool. Right, so we'll do this one just straight up. Look at that, beautiful. I really love this. I love all the stamps, but that one always gives me great pleasure when I see it stamped. Okay, so the tea towel's going to have to go on the floor again for me to walk on because I forgot I have to plug in my die cutting machine. So let's just get that done. Okay, so to cut these out, I thought it would be fun to use the labels. Sorry, the designer oh dear, I can't say it. Designer tags dies, and I've found these really, really useful. I've played with them a couple of times and I think I'm going to be playing with them forever. So I thought I would use the smaller of the outline dies, that one there, and cut these out. Now the reason I did these at an angle was because I think it just makes it a bit more interesting, and I knew I wouldn't get all of the leaf in, so I'm just going to go kind of like that, I think. Yeah, so anybody who watches me regularly will know that I always use a piece of tape to stick it down so that it doesn't move, and I will be back in just a second. Well, I must say it's much cooler since I put the fan on. Oh, Esther, I'm so sorry you've got to go, but I'll see you all later. Okay, so let's pop this one out. I hope I've cut all the way through, yeah. So let's have a look at the comments. Sherry says, I really like your style. Oh, is that my style or something someone else has said? I'll take the compliment, thanks. So let's pop that on like that and cut this one out. I just think when you start using different shaped dies, it does bring a whole different look to your cards rather than just cutting out squares and oblongs. Whatever you're doing, Esther, have a good time. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3 cut. And then I can just pop this one in, and that's just going to go straight up like so. It took me a long time to realize that when I'm crafting, I don't have to use the whole of an image. You know, I can use part of an image. It's fine to do that. It's just, you know, I'm always saying it, just play with your supplies. When you start playing with them, that's when you realize what they can do. And again, playing with different items from the Stampin' Up range, putting them together, things that you know nobody else, you haven't seen it put together before, but just give it a go. Everything is sized to fit together, and as you all know, all the colours just match beautifully. Okay, so let's just pop that die back in here before we lose it, because we don't want that to happen, do we? Just getting rid of those little bits. Pop that in there. Okay, so that's all that done. And now I've got to kind of like work out how I want it to go on my card. So I will separate the, oh, look at that. That's not what I wanted to happen, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to stack these kind of like this, and they're going to overlap. So it doesn't really matter because I can just hide the top of that one. That's fine. And when you're doing something like this, it's always a good idea to take things or off your borders. So just because let's move this mat out of the way. Just because I've left this border all the way round, it doesn't mean to say I have to keep within that border. So I quite like my edges sometimes to go off of that border. And then I might take this one off of the edge of this side, okay? And that one, oh, come on, you know, can pop up the top there. And that starts to make everything look much more interesting. So I can't cover this up completely. So just to make this one a little bit different, why don't we just cut the top off this one? They don't all have to be exactly the same. You can always alter everything you own simply by you know, just cutting the tops off bits of dies. You don't have to have them exactly as they're represented. So I like the effect. So this one is slightly under that one, but it's slightly over that one. So I'm going to go with this sort of a tumbling look. And so let's start with the bottom one. And oh, you do need to take the top off your glue before you can use it. Really helps. Okay, so slip that underneath, and my edges are just going off as I mentioned earlier. And it's going like that with the edges off there. And again, like I was saying with the die cuts, you can change the die cuts to suit you. You can also, you know, change the direction of things. Things don't have to always be straight up, following everything in the same uniform. You know, mix it up a bit, make this sort of tumble down kind of effect. Okay, now at the bottom of my card, I'm going to choose my greeting, and let's look and see what we've got in here. Now, I think it's going to be this one, but I might change my mind. Do I want that? Can I have your on my mind? Yeah, I like that one actually. I think it sits nicer in there, and I do have somebody that I am thinking about at the moment, so I'm going with that. I would like her to know that I'm with her in spirit, if not in person. So I'm waffling a bit here because I've lost that bit of cardstock. Here it is. Let's just wipe that off again. But yeah, really easy to keep this clean. It does wipe off beautifully. So I think we'll go with the Evening Evergreen for this one. Oh, that wasn't very good, was it? Oops. Right. So is it roasting hot wherever you are at the moment? Has it cooled down a bit? What's the feeling? The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other stamp from the set, which is this one, which is the splats. And I want to use this because we've got the splats embossing folder. I just thought it would be quite quite funny to do, you know, the stamp of the splats as well. So let's do that. Just do that down here. And see what we're going to use to cut these out, because I haven't planned these because I wasn't actually sure I was going to do this. So let's have a look. I could use this again, but I want to do something different. I don't want the same shape all over the place. So let's just bring some dies in here and see what we've got. Right, there might be something there. There could be something there. Let's see. So this is painted labels dies. So there's that one. That would actually cut that out really nicely. And that. There's also yeah, so it's Scorching for Hills. Hills is in Liverpool, for those who don't know. Do you think the stamp and emboss machine would fit on that mat, on this mat? It might do, Sherry. I don't actually have the Stampin' Up one. I've had mine for many, many years and it works perfectly well, so I didn't see the need to buy a new one. But yeah, it probably would. I'll just measure it for you. It's 12 by 9 inside there, so yeah, I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Actually, I do like this shape. Yeah, that looks really nice actually. Yeah, I'm going to go for that one. So just going to cut this down a little bit. And pop these through. Talk amongst yourselves again, girls. So Sherry says she's going to get two, one to stamp on and one to put the machine on. I mean, this really isn't, I didn't buy this for stamping on. I mean, this is perfectly adequate for stamping on. The reason I bought this was for, I'm going to show you actually in a minute why I bought that, because I'm going to use it for something else. My specific purpose for buying this. Oh, wow, I nearly lost that. Let's put the die over there before I lose that. Yeah, so what I actually specifically bought this for was that little tip about the stamp pad, because that often, especially when you're using it like I'm going to do now, let's find, I want my green brush. Here we are. So I stamped that in evergreen, so I'm going to use the soft succulent. Jaunty angles, correct, Shirley. And that always makes Anne and I laugh, because it reminds us of her lovely sister when Anne was teaching her to craft. So yeah, this is brilliant when you want to do blending, because it keeps the cardstock quite, you know, you only have to put a tiny bit of pressure on it, and it helps to keep your cardstock in place while you're blending. So you know what happens usually, it dances about all over the place. Well, look at that. That's just brilliant. That's what I bought this for keeping things in place while I'm working on it. I just found it's really lovely because it's that silicone. So if you don't want to touch something and risk getting it smudged or getting the marks on your fingers, that's what this is brilliant for. Keeps things still. Being silicone, it doesn't move. Ruth, hello, I didn't see you come on there. Thank you very much for coming to join us. Lovely to see you. Long time no see really, Ruth. We've crossed paths very rarely lately, but I know you've had a nice holiday. That must have been a nice break for you all. But yeah, the August months do mean that we don't get to see each other as often as we do normally. And why not? You know, let's go on holiday if we can. So I'm going to put my splats. I think since we've already done jaunty angles, let's carry on, shall we? And I'm going to stick with putting things down flat. Because we've got some, what's the word I'm looking for? Dimension and texture by using the, by using the embossing folder, and then these are built up one on top of the other, so I'm going with flat. So I'm really loving the effect of this card. As I said, I kind of had something in mind when I started, but as always, things move. They move. I mean, they change in your mind. It's 26 degrees where Shirley is. I've got no idea what the temperature is here. I've not been out. The only time I know is when I get in my car. Once I'm driving along and the thermometer's evened out, it tells me the temperature of outside, but I haven't been in the car today, so I've got no idea. I just know it's blooming hot. So I'm going to use some lovely sequins, beautiful sequins, and these are called, I knew I was going to forget, so I got them ready here, For Everything Fancy sequins. And you get 3 pots, and it's not a specific Stampin' Up colour. You've got blue, green and pink, so they will match with all the Stampin' Up colours in the green, pink and blue ranges. So I'm just going to sprinkle a few into the lid and hope that the fan doesn't blow them all over the place. And I've got some glue dots here. Now, the glue dots will probably be okay size wise for those larger green ones. These are lovely. These green ones are little tiny hexagons, and they fit perfectly onto these dots, except they don't want to come off again. So, oops, that's stuck firmly to my thumb. So let's pop that there. They're kind of iridescent, so they pick up the colours around them. They're really lovely and so sparkly. I do like these. So I think it might be better. I wonder if I pop the dot on like that and then pop the sequin on. So let's get another of those. It's a perfect size for these, the absolute perfect size. And then I think I would just do a little bit of glue. So Janice says, love the way you use your tweezers. Thank you, Janice, but I have to use them because even though I've got tiny hands, I still find my fingers too clumsy for some things. So I use my tweezers all the time. Sherry says she's just ordered the sequins. Can't wait. Yeah, they are lovely. And Claire said, don't forget, don't forget my thumbs up, please, please, please. So let's just put a little dot of glue there, just a small dot of glue. Oh, well, that's it, they've gone now. Don't worry about spilling them anymore. And just pop that one on. That's an actual sequin. It's not the same as we've had before. Oh, look at this tiny weeny one here. So let's just pop, I'm going to put one right in the middle of that splat. I think that will be fun, won't it? And we'll pop, let's put a white one on there. This is white, and it's like kind of a frosted effect. It's beautiful. And I'm going to put that teeny weeny one on here. Try and get the tiniest little blob of glue. So I didn't even squeeze, I just touched it. I've got one of these things here. I'm sorry, it's not a Stampin' Up one, but I bought this one many years ago and it's the same purpose, so I'm sticking with it. So is that an odd number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. So, yeah, because this mat helps things to stick to it, it's going to be a bit tricky to pick those up. So I will now show you my little bargain from B&M. This tiny little dustpan and brush. Now I don't know if this was designed for a table dustpan and brush, simply for little girls to play with, or little boys, but whatever. Oh, it's not brilliant on this mat, but it's very good for, you know, your ordinary table. I often use it to sweep up on my desk. Not that I have, you know, not that I'm messy and have a lot of accidents. It's not working for that. No, it's not going to work on this mat. So I'll just lick my finger and pick them up like that. And that works a treat, girls. Oh, there's always one, isn't there, that doesn't want to play ball. Okay, so that's today's card. I'd really like to know if you've enjoyed today's video, and you can do that by giving me the thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe. As I've mentioned before, I'm trying desperately to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not too far off now, and when that time comes, I am going to be doing a giveaway. It will be a brand new stamp set that I'll give away, and nearer the time I will give details of how you can enter the draw to win that. Okay, so as usual, there will be links to the current catalogues and my online store should you wish to buy anything in the description box below. So I'm going to say a big thank you all for joining me again today, and tell you how much I really appreciate you following me. It really does make me happy. So I hope to see you all again. I will be doing a recorded video on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. That's British Summer Time, and also I'll do another live next Saturday at 2:30. So thank you very much indeed, and bye bye for now.